With just 8 minutes of prayer, you will see His grace. Are you feeling anxious about an upcoming trip away from home? 1 minute you're excited about the adventure ahead. Maybe it's a work trip to a bustling city, a long overdue visit to see your parents, or even a spontaneous getaway just because you need a break. But then, out of nowhere, those little nagging worries creep in. Will the flight be delayed? Will my luggage make it? Is the house going to be okay while I'm gone? What if something happens to the kids or my spouse back home? It's like your mind starts playing a game of what if, and before you know it, you're carrying a suitcase full of anxiety along with your actual bags. I've been there, and I bet you have too. That's where prayer comes in, not as some stiff, formal thing we're supposed to do, but as a real, honest lifeline that can pull us out of that spiral and into a place of peace. Let's talk about what prayer really is, because I think sometimes we overcomplicate it. Prayer isn't about having the perfect words or sounding like a preacher on Sunday morning. It's just you talking to God like you'd talk to a friend who really gets you. Picture this. You're sitting in the airport terminal, people rushing by with their coffee cups and carry-ons, and you're feeling that knot in your stomach tighten. You close your eyes for a second, not to tune out the noise, but to tune into something bigger. You whisper, God, I'm nervous about this trip. I don't know what's going to happen, but I need you with me. That's it. That's prayer. It's raw, it's real, and it doesn't need to be fancy. And here's the beautiful part. Even those few words can shift something inside you. They remind you that you're not carrying all this alone. I mentioned in the original piece that just 8 minutes of sincere prayer a day can transform you. And I stand by that. Why 8 minutes? Well, it's not a magic number pulled out of a hat. It's just a starting point, something doable even when life feels chaotic. Think about it. We scroll through our phones for way longer than that, without even blinking. 8 minutes is enough time to pause, breathe, and really connect, but not so long that it feels overwhelming. I started doing this myself a few years back when I had to travel cross-country for a job I wasn't even sure I wanted. I'd sit in my hotel room each morning, coffee in hand, and just talk to God about what was on my mind. The meetings I was dreading, the homesickness already kicking in, the hope that my dog wasn't chewing up the couch back home. Those 8 minutes became my anchor. They didn't make the trip perfect, but they made me feel steady, like I could handle whatever came my way. What's amazing about prayer is how it meets you right where you are. You don't have to be in a church pew or have a candle lit to make it count. On a plane at 30,000 feet, you can pray. Stuck in traffic on the way to the train station, you can pray. Waking up in a hotel bed that's way less comfy than your own, yep, you can pray there too. It's portable, personal, and powerful. And it's not just about dumping your worries. It's about opening up space for hope. I remember one trip where I was flying to see my sister after she'd had surgery. I was a mess, worrying about her recovery and whether I'd be any help at all. Mid-flight, I started praying, not out loud, just in my head, and I asked God to give her strength and me some calm. By the time we landed, I felt lighter. Not because the situation had changed yet, but because I'd handed it over to someone who could carry it better than I could. Now let's dig a little deeper into why prayer works this way. When you pray, you're not just talking into the void, you're reaching out to a God who listens. For me, that's rooted in faith, in believing that He's there, paying attention, even when I can't see Him. There's this verse in the Bible, Psalm 121, 3-4, that says, He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. I love that. It's like God's got the night shift covered, so I don't have to stay up worrying. When I'm traveling, that idea sticks with me. Whether I'm crossing time zones or just crossing state lines, He's awake, watching out for me and the people I love. But prayer isn't just about asking for stuff like please keep the plane in the air or don't let the pipes burst at home. It's also about listening. Sometimes I'll sit there after I've said my piece, just quiet, letting my mind settle. It's not like I hear a booming voice from the sky, though that'd be wild, but more like a gentle nudge, a feeling of reassurance that says, it's going to be okay. One time, I was on a train heading to a family reunion, stressing about some old tensions that might flare up. I prayed about it, then just sat there, staring out the window at the trees whipping by. And this thought popped into my head. You don't have to fix everything. Just show up and love them. It wasn't my own clever idea. It felt like a gift, something God dropped into my heart to ease the load. If you're new to praying or it feels awkward, don't sweat it. Start small. Maybe it's just a quick thanks for getting me through today before you crash at night. Or maybe you try those 8 minutes, set a timer if you want, and see what comes up. You could even borrow from something familiar, like the Lord's Prayer, and tweak it for your trip. Give us this day our daily bread, and maybe a smooth flight too. There's no rule book saying it has to be serious or somber. God's got a sense of humor, I'm pretty sure. He made us, after all. Another thing I've found is that prayer pairs really well with little rituals that make it feel personal. On trips, I like to carry a small notebook, not some fancy journal, just a cheap one from the dollar store, and jot down what I'm praying about. Before a big move a while back, I wrote stuff like, safe drive, good weather, no breakdowns, and then I'd check back later to see how it played out. It's not about testing God, but about noticing how He shows up. One time, I prayed for patience during a layover that stretched from 2 hours to 6, and wouldn't you know it, I ended up chatting with this sweet older lady who made the wait fly by. Coincidence? Maybe. But I like to think it was an answer in disguise. Prayer also has this way of rewiring how we see things. When I'm stressed about travel, like that time I had to catch a red-eye flight after a long day, it's easy to get stuck in a loop of everything's going wrong. But when I pray, even just for a minute, it flips the script. Suddenly I'm noticing the little graces, the fact that I made it to the gate on time, the warm pretzel smell wafting from the airport food court, the way the clouds look like cotton candy from the plane window. It's not that the problems vanish, it's that they don't get to run the show anymore. So as you gear up for your next journey, whether it's a quick weekend trip or a months-long adventure, give prayer a shot. Not because it's a chore, but because it's a gift. 8 minutes a day, or even 8 seconds when you're rushing out the door, can be your reset button. It's your chance to say, hey God, I'm scared, I'm excited, I'm all over the place. Can you hold this with me? And He will. That's the power of prayer. It doesn't just change your trip, it changes you. After watching, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I have many good videos to share. Learn to give, and God will give you peace.